Destination Newry. I'm Rowan Hand. This is Inspector Lorraine Dobson of the PSNI. Lorraine, you're very welcome. How are you?
Thank you very much, Rowan. It's lovely to be here. Thanks
it's
for having me.
Good to see. Last time I saw you was the pre-Christmas soiree right. in the Arts Centre, and we were all looking forward to Christmas, and now it's as far away as ever again.
It's gone again till next year.
Absolutely, but so be it. So be it. Agricultural thefts.
Yeah.
These were exercising the police in the months coming up to Christmas. We've had some good progress there. We
have, Rowan. We have made a number of arrests.
Wow!
And
you got the bad guys.
We did, and we've been able to recover 2 tractors on this side of the border, and £100,000 worth of plant was recovered by our colleagues in Garda Síochána. So,
hey.
So there are 2 people facing the courts now in relation to that. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. Bit more work to do with it, but so we would ask people to be vigilant. You know, if you're seeing tractors moving at odd times of the night or early hours of the morning, then do report that. We're happy to get a report and to check that out, because better to be safe than sorry. So.
Absolutely, it's the old maxim: better to be safe than sorry. But I mean, that's a huge success. Well, to what extent did public cooperation help you along that road?
Well, on both those occasions, the arrests came as a result just of police activity.
So you saw these guys, maybe?
Yes.
Obviously, we can't go into the detail of the evidence.
On one occasion, they had parked a tractor up in an area just outside Bestbrook, and we had come across it and checked it out. And unfortunately for that individual, he returned to it at the wrong time to move it on, and he
oh, that's wonderful.
He came as a guest, and then on another occasion, members of the public in Marilyn reported a theft, and so we were alerted to the fact that there was a stolen tractor on the move, and we were able to spot it and get it in South Armagh. So.
Well, that's great, but I love it when a plan comes together. That's great. Now, what else is on your agenda at the moment?
Well, agricultural theft is still important, and cattle theft, we're seeing quite a bit of it. What
would they do with cattle? If I had the notion on me to go and steal a beast, I wouldn't know what to do with it. But apparently they would take it. Where would they sell it on?
Well, that's what we're trying to track, because there has to be a market for it somewhere. So we have had some indication that there's illegal abattoirs operating, which is obviously not good for the public, because they'll not be meeting the required health and safety standards, etc. So we're working quite hard trying to find out what that is all about. But what we would say to farmers too, obviously, is to check the beasts regularly. And if you're on the road and you're moving beasts, expect that the police will stop you.
Yes.
If you've got a cattle trailer on the back, because we're seeing an increase in thefts, I'm saying to my officers, if there's cattle moving, then stop. And we have a direct line to DARD, and we can check the tag.
DARD is the Department of Agriculture.
That's right, yes. So we can check the beast tags to make sure that every movement's legitimate. So we'd ask farmers just to be a bit patient with us as we do that. Because
please, can I suggest to you that if you catch a cattle rustler, you hang the devil.
Oh.
That's the way we used to do it in the Wild West.
Well, these things don't happen as a one-off. Somebody stealing cattle will probably work over a number of weeks going to feed the cattle, so the cattle gets used to the individual and gets used to them being about, and then on one occasion they'll bring a trailer with them and load the cattle into the trailer.
Goodness gracious.
So they put a bit more effort into it than just rolling up
and would you give them any credit for that? You're not such a bad old thief. At least you're putting in a good effort.
No, I say they're going to be there for a few weeks, because I want people out there to be on the lookout. And also we have a farm watch system, which is a bit like the neighbourhood watch, which we're encouraging our farmers to get involved in, and put a few signs up, because that makes the thief think that there's nosy people about who are going to report their actions. So they're not feeling so safe and comfortable to be able to come and go over a 3-week period to steal the cattle.
These people have an uncanny confidence. I always advised my journalists in the BBC that we didn't use words like it was a daring robbery because you're giving them a certain kudos and saying that it was daring, it was wonderful. I was always very careful about that and still would be. But it's not unreasonable to say that these people have an uncanny confidence to be able to swagger around the land, feeding cattle, getting the confidence of the cattle, and then coming along and swooping them away.
I think what they're doing is taking advantage of the topography and stuff. A lot of the cattle are kept in very rural fields where there wouldn't be a lot of dwellings about and a lot of traffic on the road.
Of course.
So they're going to maximise their opportunities for getting a good result in their eyes, but also for taking advantage of the ground around them as well.
Lorraine, is there a class of villains out there? Like, we know there's doctors, there's journalists, there's police officers. Are there people who get up in the morning at the beginning of the year knowing that their sole purpose in life, their profession in life, is thievery?
I don't know that there's a class, but there's certainly a group of people who don't appear to have any conscience. They're not thinking, I'm taking this car and that belongs to an old lady, or it belongs to a teacher who needs to get to school or whatever. They're just thinking, I'm taking the car and I can get X £1,000 for that car, So I do think there's a group of people who don't have any conscience and work hard at probably not having any conscience. Talking
about cars, there was a Mercedes stolen on Saturday in Newry, and that was found burnt out at Ballintemple.
Yes.
Any progress in that you know of?
No progress at the minute, but we're obviously still investigating.
Yes, of course. That sounds good to me. Where do you want to take me now?
Well, I suppose I would, a couple of thank yous. In my patch is South Armagh, so we have had a few very serious terrorist incidents over the last number of weeks, and that impacts on policing in a number of ways. Obviously, when we're dealing with the devices or the hoax device, we're not concentrating on other aspects of our work, and also for a hoax device there, we had to close a road down for 2 days. The Dundalk Road, just south across McGlen. So we realise that causes a lot of inconvenience for people and a lot of worry. So just say thank you to people for their cooperation for that, and ask them for their continued understanding.
Okay.
And then I suppose the other thing I would like to do, I couldn't be here today and not mention the floods.
Yeah, why are you going around carrying blinking sandbags? I want you to go out and hit the rascals on the head with a baton.
Do you know, it's all hands on deck when you get a situation of severe flooding, and very much Davy Beck, who's the Chief Inspector in Newry.
He is indeed, lovely man.
He was leading it locally at the weekend, and he said it was phenomenal. If you'd have asked for a sandbag on Thursday, somebody would have had to go and find out where to get one. By Friday and into Saturday, they had 4,000 in place.
Yeah.
And he said that was really very much multi-agency. So you had road service. I'm not going to name them all, but I'm sure I'll forget. Road service, the Rivers Agency.
But it's quite new, if you don't mind me saying so, for the police to be heading up something that is a very that is a meteorological event. That hasn't happened before. It would have been left with the agencies. It's a new role for the police in a sense.
I suppose we have two aspects. Our first one is to protect life.
Yes,
and,
always.
Where there is a risk to life, then that's up to us to get involved. And that's actually where we're pretty good, at getting things. When something needs done, we're pretty good at getting it done there and then. When there was a need on Thursday to make plans for the weekend and to try and protect people primarily and their property, then that's where we kick in. And there was so much help. The Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service, ambulance, everybody was involved. They all came together to recognise that there was a danger and to do everything they possibly could to keep the people of this area safe. So it was tight.
You'd hate to be in America, wouldn't you?
Oh my goodness, yes, those temperatures are rather scary.
There's a rascal give himself up. He went on the run from a prison in the Midwest. I think it was the Midwest, and it got so cold. He said, "Please take me back to prison. I want."
Where there's free heating and food.
Yeah, your American counterparts actually obliged him. That was good.
Well, we generally do. If people give themselves up, we'll definitely find them a bed for the night.
Oh dear, why am I laughing? Where are you going next? Are we there? Are we not?
Just finally, what I would like to say is that
Doesn't have to be finally. Take your ease.
Well, I know you've got more people waiting.
Yeah,
Actually, you're a popular guy this morning. There's loads of people.
Yes, it's all good.
We've had a few thefts right throughout sort of the South Down, Newry and South Armagh area from new builds.
Yes.
So obviously, by the nature of a new build, it's an empty dwelling. But we've had people breaking in, stealing kitchens, radiators, boilers, entire kitchens,
entire radiators,
entire.
They're probably
30 radiators.
They're probably stealing those when you're out sandbagging the river.
Possibly, although I don't.
Stop it, Rowan. That's not fair.
Possibly, but what we'd do is ask people to be vigilant. You know, if you have a dwelling under construction next door or whatever, to keep an eye out. And to be a good neighbour. You know, it's if you see somebody moving about it that isn't normally around it, then do report it. And or maybe we had good success some months ago. A lady in South Armagh. It was a actual occupied house next door to her, but she noticed a van with a ladder on top and some males around the house, and all she did was shout over the hedge and ask who they were looking for. And that was enough to scare them off. They had already taken the alarm box down and were in the process of breaking into the house, but just her shouting over the hedge, "Who is it you're looking?" was enough for them to think, oh, somebody's spotted us, let's get out of town here. So, and that's exactly what they did. So would ask people, just be vigilant out there. If you notice something suspicious, please report it and be a good neighbour. Inspector Lorraine Dobson, thank you for one of the best police calls we've had yet. Thank you very much indeed. You will come back. I will indeed. Thanks very much. Music in the meantime.